I want to tell you today that if you're going to overcome any obstacle, or if you're going to go after any goal, there's going to be some battles you're going to face, and most of them are going to be in your mind. This makes me think of a story in the Bible. It says in Mark chapter 4, verse 35 through 41. I want us to read this story. As evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's cross to the other side of the lake." So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. The disciples woke him up shouting, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" When Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." Suddenly, the wind stopped and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. "Who is this man?" they asked each other. "Even the wind and waves obey him." So I want us to look at this real quick. There are some principles that many times when we read this story, we might overlook. And I actually want to encourage you right now. If you feel like you have fear, if you're not starting that business because you're scared of what people are going to think, you're scared of what can happen. This is the thing. Many of us have fallen into the fear trap. You've fallen into fear. And this is the thing, this is an emotion we're all gonna feel. We're all gonna encounter, no matter how spiritual, no matter how much experience you might have in business or how little experience you might have. I want to tell you that all of us are gonna encounter this feeling of fear. And the way that we're going to overcome this fear is by following these three principles that we can find from the scriptures, and I want us to apply. The first one I want you to do is this. When we fall into fear, we must move into faith. Sometimes we focus on the negative things. For many people, this is a natural reaction. We tend to focus more on the negatives. That's why when you're looking at the news, many times it's mostly negative news and not positive news, because negative news brings more attention. And that's the thing. Many times we give too much attention to the negative things before we even take that leap of faith. We need to move from fear into faith. You see, the problem that the disciples has is that they focused on the storm. They saw the storm. They witnessed Jesus do all these miracles beforehand up to this moment, and they see the storm and they're freaking out with Jesus on the boat with them. They forgot who was on the boat. Sometimes you get an idea and you're scared because you don't know everything, but Jesus is with you. Faith has to come into action. If you know the outcome, then it's not really faith. If you know you don't really need to depend on God, it's not really faith. If it requires you to depend on God, if it requires for you to stretch out and have more vision for something you probably never thought you would see yourself doing, I'm going to tell you, you're moving into faith. When you fall into fear, you got to start putting faith into the picture. The second point I want you to focus on is this. Fear sacrifices the truth, while faith enhances the truth. The fact of the matter, when Jesus woke up, he rebuked the winds, said to the waves to be still. What does that mean to us? We have to remind ourselves of God's power. We got to remind ourselves of that idea, that the potential. Many times we don't realize this, that we can't depend only on things of the past, but we also have to look forward to the future. The Bible says that for we live by faith and not by sight. You can't see the outcome as for it is. Like, you might be going through a tough situation in your business right now, or you might be in a tough financial situation, a hard season right now. I'm going to tell you, the season is a season. It doesn't make you. It's not who you are meant to be. The way you got to sacrifice is this. You got to sacrifice sometimes people's opinions. Some people that you have around you might not be the right people to keep around because they are not wanting you to see you grow. Sometimes we pay attention too much to the negative things, and sometimes it's people we care about, people who have good intentions, but they don't really see the vision God put inside of you. I'm going to use an example of this. Joseph had a vision. Joseph had a dream, and he shared that dream, and his brothers threw him in the well and sold him into slavery. What does that mean? Sometimes you're telling things to people who don't really see the vision, who don't really see what God has put in front of you, and you're overvaluing their opinion when God already spoke. Some of us have to practice our faith and believe that, hey, God can use you in a specific area. God can use you in a business. God can use you in a certain career. God can use you to start this because no one else before you has done it, and you're going to be the first one who starts it. So sacrifice the lies. Don't let your fear sacrifice the truth that God is with you. The third principle that we can get from this specific story is that fear hides while faith exposes. When you have fear, you tend to excuse yourself. When you have faith, you expose those things where you're lacking. That's why you have to have faith. When you have faith, you also expose where you lack. And now you grow in dependence on God. When you start this business, when you start this journey, I want you to come with the mindset, godly mindset of first trusting in God, putting your faith in Him. If He's the one who's giving you the calling to go for it, to lean on Him, to depend on Him, to never sacrifice Him. Do not sacrifice the blesser for the blessing. Remember, the reason you're able to start this business is because of Him. You face that fear when you feel like you're not worthy enough, or you're not capable enough, or you're not sure whether to start that YouTube thing, or to start on that online business, or to jump into real estate, whatever it might be. Come with a kingdom mindset. Come with a God first mindset. Come with a mindset that says, I'm going to depend on God, and watch how God will move in those goals, in those dreams, and watch Him be a blessing through your life. If you got any value out of this video, I want to encourage you to like, comment, and to ultimately subscribe if you got some value. If you didn't, thank you for watching it. I really appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.